Hey everyone, it's Jamie. I wanted to come on today and talk about a really important topic, and that is the subconscious mind. The reason I want to talk about that first today is because it really is the foundation for everything. In fact, the subconscious mind is responsible for, I would say, over 98% of the lives that we're living. You know, a lot of people know about the conscious mind, the brain, the science behind all of that, but they don't realize the power that the subconscious has. And what the subconscious mind is more than the brain. It's more than the mind. It is this silent program running in the background, kind of like a computer if you think about it. You can't see the program running, but it is running in the background. It's doing its job. It's collecting data. It is building off of that data, building off of that foundation, right? And you can't see it. And that's why a lot of people aren't fully aware of it or aren't educated about it, because it's seemingly silent but very powerful. And it also is the foundation for really for manifesting, because it is important to kind of have an understanding and grasp on that before you write out affirmations and things. And I'm going to explain it in this way, just kind of describe how the subconscious mind works. So I'll just give you an example, and I use this one a lot if you've been following me for a long time. So say you are born and there is an issue with either you or your mom, and the nurse needs to take your mom away because, something happened. So they need to take her away. Well, automatically, you have this thought, even if it's not conscious, of abandonment, let's say, because here I'm born, I really love this person, this is the only person I love, and now they're taken away from me. It's not big, it just happened, you're just born, you don't really know what to do with it, but it's there. So then in third grade, your grandma dies, right? And so now that feeling of abandonment's building up just a little bit more. It's just creating a little bit more momentum. And, then you get into seventh grade and you get this little boyfriend, and then he breaks up with you before the dance, right? So here comes some more abandonment issues. And now this program is getting bigger. It's running a little more. And, maybe you get into high school and, something happens with a relationship there, or maybe some of your friends, become friends with other people. So what happens is this program starts gaining more momentum and it gets bigger. And then what happens is, because you have that core belief of this abandonment, maybe then there's these self-worth issues, right? So then you stop working out, you stop your sport because you don't want to take care of yourself, or maybe you develop an eating habit that's not so ideal, but branching from this self-worth issue. So now you have that abandonment program running, it's creating momentum, and now it's branching off in different areas, right? And it's not just stored in your head, it's stored in every cell of your body, it's stored in your energy field, and you aren't even aware of what's going on, but you just start noticing these patterns. You start noticing that, people aren't showing up for you, that people aren't respecting you, and things like that. And a lot of the times the thing is we tend to kind of blame our external circumstances, right? Like, well, they're not treating me well, or this is happening, or this is happening. But the moment that we actually internalize it and kind of go back to the core of when it happened, we can start clearing away some of these programs, right? The false programming, I call it, that's running in the subconscious. So one way that I always tell people that is a good way to kind of navigate the subconscious mind is really thinking about those themes. So let's say you're going through something right now and you're realizing that, like, people aren't showing up for you, right? And you kind of think back to, like, well, that person didn't show up for me, and that person, and you start internalizing it, right? So you can get back to the core of, like, when you first felt like people weren't showing up for you, or first felt like you were abandoned, right? So maybe you won't remember the birth stuff, but you can get pretty dang close to when that happened. So if you can get to the core of it, you can realize, hey, that wasn't truth. That was just showing me something. Another way to kind of navigate it and help clear some of the subconscious stuff is by also externalizing it and saying, okay, people aren't showing up for me. I'd just like to use that one. And then asking yourself, like, where am I not showing up for myself? Where am I kind of selling myself short? Where am I playing small? And kind of then going back to where you kind of feel like you lost that part of you, that part that really shows up and that, you know, is really there for yourself. So those are a couple ways to kind of navigate it. And I want to get into affirmations a little bit because this is something that a lot of people teach, a lot of programs teach, and there's a reason it's not effective. And it's because the subconscious mind is very powerful. Like I said, it can gather up so much momentum and it creates this false programming, but it's very powerful false programming that feels like the truth. And so when you meet that program with resistance, it resists back, right? So say you have been struggling financially for a really long time. We'll use that because I know a lot of people have. And you start writing out these affirmations like, I am a millionaire. I am, you know, whatever. Your subconscious mind's like, bullshit, bullshit. Right? Because that is such a different energy from kind of those programs that are running. So there is a correct way to, you know, make these affirmations so they're still powerful, they're still really positive, they're still leading in the direction that you're wanting to go, but you're picking and choosing specific words that have less resistance. So that's why it's so important. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind because it's come up a lot in my personal sessions that I've done with people. And I know for a lot of you that may be here, maybe this is an introduction to kind of more spiritual, metaphysical, energy type healing, different modalities, and it might be weird. And you might be like, what the heck is she talking about? It's kind of crazy. Well, one thing I always say is, but what if it works? So even if you aren't open to it, I'm really hoping to give people, one, a very laid back approach. Like, I come here as I am and, you know, hope that my authenticity is welcoming enough for you guys to maybe expand your mind a little bit, maybe think about some new perspectives and maybe take a little bit and then tweak it and make it your own, or maybe shift completely because of something that I've been able to share with you guys. So with that, like I said, I was doing these personal sessions with people and they were really, really intense, but some people are like, hey, you know, I had a couple people in particular saying, you know, hey, I still think this is kind of weird. Like, what can you tell me to make me like feel a little bit better? Or people, you know, maybe didn't want to do a full session, but still kind of wanted an introduction to the work. So I kind of thought of something I could do, you know, to address all of that. And one thing I noticed is there were a lot of common themes along or within all the sessions that I was doing that was kind of the foundation for a lot of the sessions. And that was things regarding love and relationships, like wealth, abundance, money, and health. And so I thought, what can I do to be able to, you know, serve here in this space, but one, kind of cover all the bases, give people an introduction to what healing, clearing, reprogramming of the subconscious mind is, but also give them a really safe space to where they don't have to connect with me directly, like over the phone or whatever, but that I can just send them a video or audio, like a meditation that they can do on their own in their own private space. So like I said, it gives people this safe space to get an introduction to what this type of work is. It gives people an opportunity to really experience some of the foundation stuff, and just again give them an introduction. So if you're interested in that, I have this Transforming the Subconscious Mind package. That's basically what that is it's 3 separate healing sessions. So I go over muscle testing basics or applied kinesiology, basically just ways to kind of communicate with your subconscious mind, with your energetic field, to answer some questions that maybe you're not consciously aware of, but also going into, some details of some general clearing, some energy healing, and then some new downloads to put into the subconscious mind, as well as just ways to spark some consciousness shifting, right? So more just to spark sort of your ascension, right? Or just up leveling of your frequency. So I hope that clarifies some things for people about the subconscious mind, about how powerful it is, and I hope you're able to kind of take this stuff and expand upon it. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.